I thought my hip pain was caused by sitting too much, or I hurt myself working out, or just getting older. It turns out it was menopause. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Amy Schmidt, and I share my journey through midlife and menopause to help other women who are on the same journey feel more comfortable in their bodies and in their lives. Today, I'm talking about my hip pain that I've had for the past couple of years and how I found out that it was from menopause, not from the other things that I thought I had done to myself, but from menopause. So about 2 years ago, I was down on vacation, I remember it clearly, and my hip started hurting. And I'd been at the beach and we had been playing in the waves, trying to body surf. And I thought I'd hurt myself. And as the weeks went on, I thought, oh, maybe I've done something at the gym, or maybe I'm sitting too much at my desk. I work from home, so let me get a standing desk. None of those things were working. Week by week, it got worse and worse and worse, to the point where I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't walk. Driving in a car was excruciating. It had upended my life, and I knew I needed help. So the first thing I did was I went to the doctor to make sure that I hadn't really hurt myself. I thought I probably needed like a hip replacement or something, and had an MRI, and it came back. I was fully fine. I had inflammation. So inflammation, what's causing that? So I go to physical therapy for like 3 months, and halfway through physical therapy, my physical therapist, who was a woman in her late 60s, said to me, "Are you in menopause?" And I'm like, look at me, of course I'm in menopause, I'm in perimenopause. And she's like, well, a drop in estrogen affects your joints in your hip and in your shoulder. And she had seen me the year before for frozen shoulder. So same thing. A lack of estrogen caused by menopause causes joint stiffness. There is something in estrogen that is anti-inflammatory. So when that leaves your body, you have inflammation. There's nothing there to fight it. It also helps with your joints with fluidity in the joints, and that decreases with lack of estrogen. So estrogen plays a huge part in it, and it really wreaks havoc on some people's joints, and it did on mine. So there are 3 things that I did that have been incredibly helpful that I wanted to share with you if you're going through hip pain like I was. So first of all, I started on hormone replacement therapy to put some estrogen back into my body. And I'll do another whole video on what that is and what I take, but that has been helpful. It did not cure me of this, but having that estrogen back in my body did help. The second thing I did was I started doing exercises. So I do 3 exercises every day. And I'll tell you, I've had this for 2 years. I'm like 90% better. But 3 months ago, I was like, I'm done feeling like this. Like, I need this to be 100% gone. So I really, down to brass tacks, figured out 3 exercises that were really gonna work for me. So here are the 3 that really work for me. I do clamshells, and I'll link what those exercises are down in the comments. But clamshells are basically laying on your side and opening your knees up and down, up and down. I do 3 sets of 15. The second thing I do are cat and camel. So you're on your hands and knees, you arch your back, then you flex your back. You're pretty much tilting your pelvis in and out. I do 3 sets of 10 of those. And then the last thing I do are glute bridges. And I've done glute bridges for a long time because I work out a lot, but I wasn't doing them right. And so I realized I wasn't doing them right because the first day after I did them the right way, my glutes hurt. And that meant I wasn't working my glutes the right way. So I do 3 sets of 10 of glute bridges. The other thing I do, part of my exercise routine, is I have a little lacrosse ball that is very hard. I put that under like my butt cheek and I roll around on it. And you want to roll where it hurts because that's where the inflammation is, and you want that ball to kind of break up the inflammation. When I would go to the physical therapist, she would have me lay on my back and she would stick her finger right where it hurt, like fingers right into like the part of my muscle that was so tight, and I could feel it relax. And this is kind of what that lacrosse ball does. So I roll around on the lacrosse ball for about a minute or so, and that's been incredibly helpful. The third thing that I've done, which I think is having the biggest impact of all, is I changed my diet. And I started looking at foods that caused inflammation, and so I switched my diet to more of a paleo diet. And so I cut out gluten, I cut out dairy, and I cut out processed sugar. And that, I think, has had an amazing impact a couple of ways. So my joint pain is almost virtually gone. It could be a combination of that and the exercise, but I've noticed a big difference since I started eating a little differently. I also lost 5 pounds, which I have not been able to lose in 3 years. You know, the menopause weight, again, another subject for another time, but I've been able to lose 5 pounds, which I have not been able to lose in years. And also my cholesterol dropped by 20 points, which I have not been able to budge ever in my life. I have hereditary high cholesterol, and being on this diet helped. So getting on HRT and getting some estrogen back in my body, my exercise routine, which I now do every single day, and it takes 10 to 15 minutes, and then my diet, I feel have really helped me turn the corner in healing my back pain. So I wanted to share that with you in case you're on the same journey. Happy to answer any questions if you want to leave them in the comments. And if you followed along for this long, please give me a like and consider subscribing to learn more about feeling more in control of your body and your life during menopause and midlife.